Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And hey, Spotify just came out with a new extension, a new tool that allows you to analyze the gender equality of your music listening, of your music playlists, and they basically tell you how many men to women you're listening to. And then once that has been analyzed and quantified, they then can suggest to you things you can listen to equalize the listening experience, I guess. I've been trying to actually use this. It says down here that I cannot forward this to anyone who's under 21. So I guess I guess anybody who's under 21 stop watching the video now, I suppose. Though I've already watched this video, I don't see anybody heavily drinking or anything like this. But of course, this extension, this whole thing, is heavily branded by Smirnoff. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself over here though, because this is the second time I'm trying to actually like make the extension work and log into the app using my Facebook account, because that's typically what I use to log into Spotify, and it gives you the option to do that. But this bar goes up to 100, and then the screen says, "Oops, something went wrong. Try again later." Of course this isn't working. Of course this doesn't work, because if it's so important and socially significant, we're not going to make sure it functions properly. One of the first things I noticed is there's a bit of a difference of information in the promotional video and this little ad here itself. It says in 2017, 100% of the top streamed tracks were performed by men, which in the video, it says the top 10 most streamed tracks, which is a little bit of an information disconnect. I don't know why they wouldn't have kept that little number in there. It sort of makes it seem like it's a bigger gap than it is, though it is a big gap to begin with. I guess I'm just sort of disappointed that this isn't working right now. However, what I've done is I have mentioned this on Twitter. I've told other people to try it, and the thing actually worked, and some people got some results. Some people listening to 87% men to 13% women, 82% men, 18% women, 25% men, 75% women. So it's all over the place a little bit. But I'm wondering how they count like bands or artists or duos who are like mixed gender or I guess even non-binary. Like how does that count? Like who exactly sort of gets counted? So I had some people ask the extension to make their playlist more gender equal, and these are some of the results that they're getting. Carly Rae Jepsen, "Call Me Maybe," I mean, is a pretty huge pop song. It's not exactly like you're sort of equalizing the playing field or exposing anybody to anything that they haven't already heard. Most people who don't even want to hear "Call Me Maybe" have heard "Call Me Maybe." So, I mean, what are you doing at this point other than just reminding somebody to listen to something that they may not even have an interest in listening to? Like, if you're going to try to equal the playing field, why not try to expose people to female artists that they haven't heard of before, or female artists that they would actually be interested in based on their music tastes, instead of asking them to listen to "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey? We also have that Skylar Grey track from the Suicide Squad soundtrack. Like, how is this working? Another user that hit me up on Twitter, she used it, and she's getting results like Avril Lavigne, "Complicated," and "Pity Party" from Melanie Martinez. And I guess over here now we have the full Smirnoff Equalizer playlist. It's 20 songs over an hour of music, and here we have suggested Two Door Cinema Club, Kings of Leon, Cage the Elephant, along with Gwen Stefani, Dolly Parton, Mariah Carey, Lady Gaga, and so on and so forth. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with any of these artists, they all make very fine and very good music, very decent pop music. I can't help but feel like this whole, I don't know, vision of gender parity is just another way to shove top 40 music down everyone's throat. It's not really an attempt to educate anyone or inspire anyone or inform anyone about female artists that they wouldn't already know about. You're just trying to sell people on this idea that, hey, if you just listen to more female artists who you've probably already heard and you probably already know about, then you're gonna feel like equal. When really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many female artists you listen to. Like, you could still listen to 50%, 60%, 70%, 80% female artists and still harbor sexist attitudes. So like what is this really solving? What is this really the solution to? And I get the sense that this equalizer, this extension, it's never going to suggest anything outside of the very small camp of super well-established female artists inside the mainstream. You're not going to have it reaching down into the whole sea, the ocean of underground female artists, underground trans artists who are just toiling, trying to make their way up the fame ladder. You're never going to have this thing suggest most likely like an Anna von Hauswolf or a Julia Holter, or let's say a Rhapsody. Is this list ever going to recommend a Rhapsody? Is this thing ever going to recommend a Rosalia? Is it ever going to recommend a Princess Nokia? Is it ever going to recommend a Cupcake? If it is, I'm not really seeing that right now, and I guess the result of that is just that I'm not seeing that popping up for a lot of people. There's little to no information as to how this whole extension works. In fact, it doesn't seem to be working for a lot of the people who try it, and it's just kind of disappointing, considering the importance that they seem to place on this issue and the low level of functionality that this extension and this playlist seems to have. I guess the most annoying thing about this playlist and this promotion is that Spotify and Smirnoff have knowingly taken this unrest, this unhappiness that people have with the lack of gender parity in the music industry. And for you, it may or may not be an issue, but for a lot of people, it is an issue. And it's an issue that they're passionate about. And they've taken the fact that people are upset about this and they've just thrown a billboard onto that. Just use that as an advertising scheme. And it's kind of gross. While ultimately, at the end of the day, what matters most is that you listen to whatever you feel like listening to. And if that happens to be 75% men, 75% women, then let it be. Whatever you're comfortable listening to, whatever you enjoy listening to, whatever kind of gender or sexual orientation that person happens to be, that artist happens to be. If you enjoy that person's music, you enjoy that person's music. Ultimately, that's the most important thing, that you're enjoying yourself as a music fan. But my disappointment and my criticism here just comes by way of what Spotify advertised this as. It just isn't really, and it just fails miserably. So I'm going to leave it at that. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano. Music equality forever.